In this video, we will talk about Fisker, the stock, the company, the reactions from the financial market, and if you should buy its shares. Fisker is an EV auto manufacturing startup founded by Henrik Fisker. The company has generated some interest from investors back in 2020, but unlike many, had its stock price trading near the $16 region for many months. Recently, the company announced that it would partner up with Apple's biggest supplier, Foxconn, to make auto parts for its upcoming Fisker Ocean. The stock price took off, jumping from around $16 to $25. Many investors have been suddenly hyped up again by this EV startup and are wondering if they should get in. When analyzing Fisker, it is important to look back at its origins and more specifically, the founder and Fisker Auto's predecessor, Karma. Henrik Fisker is a car designer and worked for prestigious auto manufacturers such as BMW, Aston Martin, and Tesla. Back in the days, he founded an EV startup called Karma Automotive, but it did not work as well as planned, eventually declaring bankruptcy and sold to a Chinese conglomerate. The current Fisker is its second attempt to create a car company. The current product is called Fisker Ocean, a zero-emission SUV that should be manufactured for 2022. One key difference, however, that sets itself apart from the competitors is that Fisker has failed before. Even though I personally view this as a good thing, because this means that the company probably learned from its mistakes and knows how to optimize operations from there on, it seems like the financial market does not view this past experience favorably. For many, that failure may have removed the magic or the irrational hype element from the stock. This is actually a crucial difference for Fisker because since 2020, much of the demand into EV stocks have been fed by this irrational expectation based on the founder's PowerPoint presentations. Although technically, no one knows for sure what will necessarily happen for any of those companies, people at least know that Fisker failed at least once. This may explain why, unlike Hyliion or Lucid, the share price of Fisker seemed to be a lot more hesitant to increase in value. A few years ago, Karma Auto failed for a combination of reasons. The main ones are technical problems, battery supply issues, and lack of demand. The first two problems are likely going to be less severe this time. On one hand, technology is more mature now compared to 5 or 6 years ago. The batteries can be supplied in a much more predictable and stable manner. Fisker also partnered up with two worldly renowned companies, Magna and Foxconn, to make sure that its car parts are supplied in a timely manner while having some solid guarantee on the quality of materials. The third problem, however, is still very present, and I would argue it applies to every car manufacturer, not just Fisker. And I would argue that this applies to every car manufacturer, not just Fisker. EV sector will ultimately be evaluated based on the numbers of deliveries and profit margins. It is not some kind of Silicon Valley dream that investors want to believe in. It has tangible performance indicators. This means that the sector ultimately relies on what happens in the real economy. While some consumers will purchase zero-emission cars, to protect the environment, the vast majority of people will make their decision based on the cost of the vehicle. Fisker likely does not have the required funds to scale up its productions at the moment. So it has the hope that by the time when it has to scale up to survive, it will have sold enough cars to either generate enough operating cash flows to self-finance those investments or having proven to the market that its business model works well enough to justify higher stock price, which will in turn allow Fisker to raise more capital by selling equity. In other words, Fisker may have some difficulties in terms of demand. It is not the only company that has this problem, but because the absence of irrational hype, the worry by the investors may be more explicit. There is a crucial element that may differ from person to person, depending on to whom you ask. But my opinion is that Fisker Ocean is not a high-end vehicle. I don't believe that it can really rival in terms of prestige and experience and driver experience against the Tesla and Lucid of this world. If it operates in the mid-market, then the competition would be a lot more intense, because all the traditional manufacturers such as Toyota, Volkswagen, Ford, and so on will have similar products, all competing against Fisker. In that context, it would be difficult for the company to generate enough revenue for months and the years to come. Before we move on to my recommendations, if you like my content, please like, comment, subscribe, and check out my channel for more stock analysis. Despite all the potential issues that I just mentioned, Fisker does have a major asset for the traders, and that would be time. Time is currently on Fisker's side, because its manufacturing does not begin before late 2022, which gives traders more than a year to trade the swings. If you are a trader who wants to trade the swings of the stock without necessarily holding it for the long term, my recommendation is to buy it. Fisker likely will not have too many major news between now and when the Ocean will be manufactured. That means that if the stock dips, it would be caused by reasons outside of the company's reach, such as a market-wide correction or normal pattern of supply and demand. If that were the case, then there will be many good opportunities to buy low and sell high over the next 12 to 18 months. For those who want to hold the stock for the long term, I would still recommend to adopt a mostly trading position for Fisker and hold 5 to 10% of your position in case the company takes off. Currently, the stock price is around $25, and it seems like it is in the middle of a massive bullish spike. Usually, that would be the sign of a correction. But the current market mood is different and may keep pushing it to even higher levels. This is why I would recommend to start a position by buying in now for either 5 or 10% of your allocated amount in Fisker, and keep buying more when the price corrections occur. Given that the current name of the game is swing trading, I would suggest to have a profit target of 20%, then lock in the profit and wait for the correction to re-enter. My recommendation for maximum exposure would be between 1 to 3% of your portfolio. Thank you for watching. If you like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel.